Good morning everyone. Made myself another hat. Thought I'd make it in like Christmassy colours, but it's not turned out Christmassy colours. It's kind of turned out just greeny colours. It's a lovely morning this morning. It's very still. There's bits of blue sky trying to come through. It's quite mild really for the time of year. Like I say, very still. No breeze or anything. Molly's got a little bit of a limp on this morning, so we will be taking our time. She got up, she came downstairs, I noticed it. I don't think it's anything serious. I don't think she's got anything stuck in it or anything like that. I think she's just, might be a bit of arthritis or something, but we're going to have a fairly short walk this morning, fairly slow walk, and then we're going to monitor it for a few hours, and if it needs to, we'll have to go to the vet. But the only thing is, Molly absolutely hates the vet, so I avoid the vet like the plague, because when I get her in the vet, she shakes and she dribbles and her ears are back. And I haven't fed her anything this morning because she also throws up. She hates the vet, so I will avoid the vet like the plague. We just look after ourselves as much as we possibly can. Now, like I say, it's a beautiful morning, but we've had quite a bit of rain recently, and it's been very, very cold. The wind's been blowing from the east and it's been very cold. So it was a little bit difficult getting out this morning. But like I say, no matter how cold or wet it was, and I've said it before, there's no such thing as bad weather, just inappropriate clothing. But it was a bit difficult. But it reminded me of when I used to go running, and people who go running will know this, that it's very difficult to set off to the immediate, get that foot over the doorstep, start going. But once the endorphins start flowing, everything's fine and everything's good. But life's like that, isn't it? Nothing carries you through life on like a cloud of optimism. But if you kind of cross that doorstep in a morning without preconceived ideas, I think that's part of the problem. We get up in a morning and we go through our day with almost a plan of what we think is going to happen. And a lot of that is quite pessimistic, because life doesn't just deal you good times all the time. It just seems to try to trip you up. So most of your ideas about what the day is going to be like are pessimistic ideas. But if you can cross that doorstep in a morning without any preconceived ideas about what the day is going to bring, then you are approaching the day in an optimistic frame of mind. And optimism is the absolutely best way to approach everything in life. But optimism isn't a natural thing for a lot of people. For me, luckily, I'm naturally optimistic. But for many people, it just doesn't come. Now, I'm lucky. I'm one of life's naturally optimistic people. It's just part of my makeup, it's part of my DNA. I don't expect anything out of life. So if I don't get anything out of the day, I at least feel as though I've broken even. So this is my recipe for an equitable life. By the way, Molly started rolling about in the grass, and her limp seems to be going a little bit now she's moving. So I feel a bit happier now, because she is a big worry. You can't just magic up optimism. I think it's just part of who you are. But you can, by dint of clearing out the rubbish, the furniture, and I've said this before, by clearing out the rubbish in your mind, if you possibly can, by concentrating on the world around you rather than the problems inside you or the problems facing you in the day, you can bring up a level of optimism. Like I say, it's not easy. If you're one of these people who naturally is pessimistic, who naturally concentrates on problems in life, it's not easy. But if you can just see through that a little bit, kind of, and I've said this before, if you can kind of almost train your mind to concentrate on your surroundings rather than thinking about things in the future or things outside your surroundings, the things that may not actually be that threatening in your life, then by prioritising the things in your life that are important to you and to those that you love, I think you can naturally bring up a level of optimism. If you're prioritising the things that are important, then you are lowering the priorities of things that are less important, that are probably the things that are hindering you, the hurdles in life. And I think that by doing that, it naturally raises your optimism, raises your well-being. It's always difficult to put these things into words, so I have to kind of try to explain it and hope that people get the gist of my ramblings. It's difficult at this time of year when everything is telling you spend, spend, spend and prioritise on spending more, and telling you that if you don't spend and if you don't get those gifts, then your family and your friends will be disappointed in you and you will be a failure. And that's what it's all about, and this is what all this marketing is about. It's kind of... It's psychological. They're lowering your defences, they're knocking down your defences and telling you that no matter how strong a person you think you are actually quite weak if you don't, and you're not a very nice person if you don't go out and spend on that extremely expensive present that you can't afford but you feel so obliged to get. But your family won't hate you if you don't get that present. They won't. Your family understands, and if your family doesn't understand, then they need a punch up the backside, because they should understand. Everybody in your family, what do you want to do? You want to make everybody happy, don't you? You want to be at peace with everybody. You want to be friends with everybody. And even if we have a family, even if you're in a family that are falling out with each other, the chances are, at a basic level, you love those people and you want to protect them. So nobody, my family, know that I've not got a lot of money. They don't ask anything of me. My daughter never asks anything of me, but she insists on buying me things. And I tell her, I don't really want them, but she gets the pleasure out of giving me things. I get the pleasure out of giving them things, but I give them what I can, which isn't very much, because I can't spread it amongst all of them. I've got to spread it amongst all of them. So it's not that easy. But your family, don't believe these bloody people who tell you that you've got to buy this £200 bottle of perfume for your wife, for your mum, or your girlfriend. Do you think that if you don't buy them, that they are shallow enough to rebuke you for it? Because basically, if they do, then they're not good enough for you. Because life doesn't work like that. We appreciate each other's boundaries. We appreciate what people can buy, what people want to. Because you've got to also appreciate that gift giving isn't natural to everybody. Because sometimes budgeting comes more naturally. Some people actually enjoy budgeting. It would be uncomfortable for them. And do you want to make people uncomfortable, especially at Christmas? No, I don't think you do, because you're all nice people, like me. Who stopped limping. So that's made me happy for the day. They aren't bothered about the value of the present. It's just nice to give and to receive and have something to unwrap. I love unwrapping things for Molly. Molly gets loads of things off me on Christmas Day, loads of bits of things, and she's not a clue what's happening, and to tell you the truth, she's not all that interested. But I love unwrapping things for her. It's wonderful. We were talking about optimism, weren't we? I've gone off on a tangent. I do this. This is the story of my life, going off on tangents. That's because I've never actually succeeded at much, I think, because I get halfway there and then I'll go off on another tangent, get something interesting in my head and just go, whoo, I'm going for that. That's great, because I'm happy. So between now and then, and I know it's short notice, but just try to clear away some of the rubbish in your mind. Try to clear away some of that furniture you don't need. Try to make a little time to be alone with your thoughts, because I think that is very, very important. And try not to take the adverts literally. It's all a fantasy. Nobody lives like that. It's just a ploy, an expensive ploy to part you from your money. But I think you already know that. So Christmas, for those who celebrate it, should be a time of simple pleasures. Being with the people you love, being on your own, being in a rowdy crowd, being in the quiet, warm house, warm food, but just enough, and a favourite libation, if that's what does it to you. And that's all you need. You don't need all these glittery baubles and trinkets and incidentals that by January will have you looking at your bank account or your credit card statement and wondering why you did it and how the hell you're going to get back onto an even keel so you can do it again next year. It's not worth it. Good company, the company of good people, the company of a nice dog, a warm house, warm food, peace and quiet, entertainment, noise, silence, twinkly lights, or just nothing, or just doing what you normally do. That's all you need. That is all you need. And if you think you need more, then give your head a shake, because we all know you don't actually need more. More than that is a choice. And that choice is up to you. Like I say, if you like the noisy crowds, if you like spending a lot on presents, if you can afford it, then do it. But don't feel pressured into doing it. Buy your wife a Rolls Royce if you want to, if you can afford it, and it gives you a buzz, gets you laid. Do it. But don't get pressured into doing it. That's awful, because what that will do, basically, is ruin Christmas for you. Everything you were looking forward to in the run-up, suddenly you get this pressure to spend, so that when the day comes, it's ruined by pressure and a commercialism that's been around for perhaps 1 or 2 generations. It's not worth it. It's cold. My fingers are cold. Molly seems happy enough now, so that's good. Clouds are coming over. I don't think it's going to rain. We shall see you on the flip. Peace and love.